Welcome to the Real Joe Show. On this episode, we're going to be speaking with Chris Crumpler of the Crumpler Realty Group. Welcome, Chris. So we're going to be jumping in to talking about numbers, how to manage your business as a business when markets shift. Chris, thanks for coming on. You actually shared some of this knowledge to our group a few weeks ago, and I'm so happy that you're here to share that to whoever's watching this show, to our watchers.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be on and appreciate the opportunity.
What's so important about what we're talking about today is there are so many agents that get into this business and they know how to sell, they know how to get in front of people, they know how to present themselves and market homes. Yet when it comes down to running the business side of it, there's a lack of, I wouldn't say knowledge, but there's a lack of awareness and knowledge of exactly how to do that. Your approach is very business oriented. Yep. And let's talk about what you were doing and how your business was running, some of the sources you were doing, where you're spending money prior to where we are right now. Let's go back a couple of years, and can you explain what you were doing at the time to generate business and where your experience was going without giving up too much?
Okay, no worries. Yeah, back in 2019, I started as a solo agent. So it was just myself kind of getting into the industry, learning everything, just all the fun that comes with that. And around the end of 2019, I was in a different market center and had a productivity coach that left. And they asked me if I would take them. Never really thought about doing that, but I served as a productivity coach. And it was just basically to launch new agents into, I guess, their real estate business. And I would meet with 60, 70 agents a week, bi-weekly, and we would just kind of go through. And it was surprising to me how little they understood business. It's great to see real estate on television and the selling sunsets and whatnot, but to not understand the business, not understand your return on investment. If you spend money, you have to get some money back from that, or you're just wasting money. So I did that a little bit in 2020, did it for about 6 months, and then my business started taking off. You're starting to go into that year 2. So it was just a time commitment for me. I wanted to focus on that. But out of that short little stint as a productivity coach, I started to see how people would put teams together. So I thought, why don't we go get some up and coming agents? And I'm very good at not necessarily a brand new agent, but someone who understands how to call, how to get leads, how to make appointments, but may not have that second step where in your business, a lot of it's talking to people. That's certainly important. But beyond that, where's your money going? What are your expenses? What do your profit statements look like? That's kind of my niche. So I found a few agents that were similar to me, how to lead generate, but their business was kind of stalled out and they need a little bit of leverage. So I thought that it would be a good idea to basically form a team. And I hired an administrative manager initially. She's still with me to this day. And she made appointments for productivity programs. And she also did transactions for us. Great. So that's kind of what the team started there. That was 2020. We had the pandemic. We kind of fast forward. 2021 was a banner year for us. We had between 4 and 6 agents, and we got up to 2 admins. So we had about 6 total agents and 2 admins in 2021.
So let's back up. Hold on 1 second, Chris. So you jumped from hiring an admin. Now you have 4 to 6 agents.
Yep.
How did you find those agents, and what was the value that you were offering them aside from what you previously mentioned?
Yeah. A lot of the agents down on the coast, not all of them, but several of them don't really answer their phone. They're used to people wanting to just look at beach houses and not really necessary or not really too interested in it. Like as a purchase, more of a window shopping exercise. But we kind of got into it that way. And then we expanded out geographically. So we were in Fayetteville, which is where my wife and I grew up. So we've got some interest there. We were in Goldsboro. We had a great agent that took the Goldsboro market, was in the military, and just kind of took Goldsboro to Wilson. We had someone who took Northeast Raleigh. I live in Cary, so it's going up to Wake Forest and Rollsville. It's about an hour for me. So she lived up there. So I created the team geographically. So what they did is those people that were over those areas would report into us on a weekly basis and meeting. But to answer your question, we leveraged my time from going up to those areas and their time spending on transactions.
One of the challenges with starting a team is it pulls you away from your own business while you're helping support the other agents and coaching them. Did you realize that, or did you have systems in place that allowed you to continue to focus on your own business?
It was a crazy time. It was 2021. I'm looking, and I always refer to that as the peak year. That's when everything kind of busted loose. We were coming out of COVID. You'd go to an appointment and there would be 25 people in line, 10 offers on a home already. It was a crazy time. It was kind of a blur, to be honest with you. Total as a team, we sold almost 150 homes. We were like 145, 146, that one year. And we lost some agents. So I think getting into it, I learned a lot. I learned a lot what not to do and some things that I could have done better. I think that it was just kind of with the market and the conditions, we were just kind of thrown into it. We were all kind of in there together. We had some turnover. There's some people that think they want to be on a team and then they get in it and go, this isn't for me. I want to kind of do my own thing. I don't want to report numbers. I don't want to do that. It was a very good learning lesson. There's a lot of things I liked about it and a lot of things that I didn't. And I'm sure we'll get into what I'm doing now. It was a learning curve. There was a lot of, but in a previous life, I had 100 direct reports in my last position in a corporate position in big pharma. So I knew how to manage people and I knew how to bring a team together. Bringing a team together and pharma bringing a team together, completely different. So I think I underestimated that.
Yeah. So if you don't mind sharing, with those agents leaving, what was it, looking back, what was it that caused that for them to leave? What motivated them to move on?
I think that there's a couple reasons. We're always being recruited by other agencies, and there's some agencies that offer profit sharing, and sometimes it's just their season in life. It may make more sense for them to be in a different. We had a few that we hired one agent down at the coast in Wilmington. I'd never done general brokerage before, was an excellent new home consultant. I worked with her on several deals here when she was in new homes. Got into general brokerage and said, it's nothing against you. I just don't like this as much as I like new homes. You got people coming in constantly. You're not having to do the things. And I think it's overwhelming sometimes when people get in general brokerage, when they've been selling 4 or 5 different models, and now they have to know stuff about a septic system from 1960. There's a lot there. So it was a mix of things. I think some of it, people just don't want to be on a team. They get in there and go, oh, I can do this, or I can save money. I don't want to pay a split. There's just a number of things. We obviously, with every team, you pay a split. And some people just say, hey, we had a great agent, Holly Springs, and he just said, I want to do what you're doing. I want to form a team. I want to do this. And it was just kind of eye-opening. It was not 1 or 2 things. It was just a whole kind of gamut, a summary of different things.
Do you think there's anything that you could have done to keep them in place?
Those particular agents, no. I think that some of them moved on from general brokerage to new homes. I can't really do anything there. The other one wanted to become us and grow a team and grow a business. He's got a great business now. He's really well.
You should be proud of that, right? You brought this agent in, you got him to grow, you showed him how to get it done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the challenge of leadership. You bring people up and they move on.
Yep. He won Rookie of the Year, his first full year, and thanked me for it. So it was nice to see that and see someone grow. It affects our business and what we're doing. You're happy for them, but at the same time, it's a big loss for us. So you're constantly having to kind of recreate this again and go, well, how do I want to do? What lessons can I learn from this? What could I do different? But no, I don't think so. I think that when you hire good agents, and we did, they do good things, and they're going to want to do their own thing. They're entrepreneurs. I hired a bunch of people like me, so I can't be surprised when they want to go do things like we've done, form a team and set up their business like this. I'm not surprised by it at all. They're wired a lot like me, so they've gone on, they've been successful, and some are still in the industry, some are not. I think life just kind of throws some curveballs at you occasionally.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people say is you hire somebody that's the opposite of you so that it complements you.
Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah, and let's explain that's what happened there.
I have a productivity coach, and they said to do that. So I did and got uncomfortable and hired some people that are not like me. But it's hard to motivate people. I can't teach motivation. I'm a very motivated person. I set a goal, I achieve it, I move on to the next one. I feel like there's endless possibilities in real estate. Coming from a corporate world, where you got paid a salary, a set salary, and someone's telling you that's all you're worth to this company. That's all you can do. I can't make any more money. I can't do anything. That's not an incentive for me to work harder when I'm going to make that regardless. When I started thinking that way and started thinking bigger, reading all these books about what are successful people doing, get out of what I was doing in the corporate world and come into owning my own business, that's hard to teach. Some people like security blankets of a check, of benefits. Real estate's unknown. So a lot of things there that you can't teach to someone, that's just kind of ingrained. And if you don't think the same way or you're not wired that way, it's not going to be a good fit. It's not necessarily they're doing it differently than I would do it. They may just not have the motivation that I have or what we want to achieve with our team. At the end of the day, it's not personal, it's business. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I've done that. I've made some bad hires. I'm not going to lie. I made bad hires in the corporate world too. It's just part of it. You're going to do that, but you learn from it and you move on and you try to get better.
Okay. So that was 2021. We're heading into 2024. Yep. What's your team look like now?
It felt different. January, you can kind of get a feel after the holidays. It just felt different. And 2021 it was just me and we had 4 or 5 other agents. And my wife was a fundraiser at a major university here, a couple of universities. She's been a vice president of some nonprofit organizations as well. So I just knew that she would be good at this. And I encouraged her to go get her real estate license. She did back in 2020. But we were trying to find that right opportunity for her to leave a stable job with salary, just exactly what I was just saying a few minutes ago, to come on board and then both of us do this. And then there's always a challenge of, are you going to be able to work well with your spouse or not? There's some unknowns there. We're completely different. That's where we complement each other. I'll get in that in a second. But she came on board in 2021, was able to offer some different things, a different approach. I know have you thought about doing this, or this? So in 2022, she was kind of on full time working with us. It just didn't seem right. We had a couple of agents that said, hey, I'm going to go do my own thing. We knew some people were probably going to leave and go back into new construction. We were in a transition period and it just didn't feel right. And Jen and I talked, we were in a different market center, at that point. And that market center was great for the business that we had then. We started getting into selling more luxury homes, luxury clientele, listing $1 million homes. And it's a little bit different. You always want to be around like-minded people. And I just said, I don't like any of this. It wasn't anything against people on our team. It wasn't anything against, a different market center. It was just when something doesn't feel right and it's not working and you're just basically achieving the same results, you got to make a change. Yeah. So we went to dinner one night. We talked and I said, I want to blow this thing up. I don't want to blow the whole thing up. I don't like this. This is not right. It doesn't feel good. I feel like there's a shift coming. I talked to my business coach and I said, this is what I want to do. And he said, are you sure about that? That's a lot of change at one time. And I said, yeah, I feel that strongly about it. I've been thinking this way for some time. So as people left, we just didn't replace them. And it got down and it was just Jennifer and my wife. And we ended up having to let one of our admins go, found her another job. And we kept her on salary until she could find another job. We thought that was the right thing to do. But moving into 2022, we left and we came over to the KW Legacy Market Center. We focused a little bit more on luxury. We dismantled the team. So it's just myself and my wife and our admin. She's a director of operations now that's been with us since 2019. She's seen everything. But we just had conversations with everyone and said, this is what I want to do. What do you think about this? I don't just make a decision and say, this is what it is. I want my wife's input. I want our transaction coordinator / director of ops. I want their input because she's a big part of our team. She kind of makes this. So we kind of blew everything up. And we shifted with the market. So that's kind of
how scary was that?
It was scary. You lose some friendships along the way when you make changes, whether it's people that you work with. They may not understand what you're going through, but at the end of the day, it made sense for our business. And if you don't change your business with changing times, you go out of business. You run the risk of that. So I hope in the end that everybody kind of gets past it and understands it. But we lost some friendships. We lost some agents. That those things just happen. but it was the right thing to do. And we've taken some market share. And our coach that we have every week, he goes, you were right. You made the right call. You see where your business was. You see what's going on now. I didn't believe that it was going to work at the time. I told you my concerns, but you were right. Your hunch was right. And I think you just have to go with your gut and understand that changing times require changes sometimes. So yeah, it was scary, but it was the right move. Looking back on it now, it was.
You must have felt, obviously you felt strongly about it, strongly enough to be able to take on that risk.
I felt strong enough that something was not right with the team and the market and changes were brewing, that it was worth what happened. Lost friendships, getting your business kind of back up and going where it should be. So in the end, it was something that I just felt that strongly about and we just had to do.
So now you're down to yourself, Jennifer, and your admin, your director of ops.
Yep.
What other changes did you make in your strategies and services that you were using to keep your business going?
Yeah, you had mentioned building profit loss statements. We've run it like a business with Jen coming from nonprofits and truly being nonprofits and having to do a lot with very little. When I came from the corporate world, my yearly budget was about $10 million and I couldn't go over it. I had to stay below that. And $10 million is like $100 in any other area because pharma is extremely expensive when you factor in lab equipment and work. And it takes a lot of money to get a drug approved. So $10 million seems like a lot, but it was kind of a drop in the bucket. But we always had to cut. So from day one running this business, my first year, I didn't do this and I felt scattered and I went to appointments and I felt scattered and I would get called out when sellers would ask a question. I really didn't have an answer for it. And I didn't like feeling that way. So I had to get this under control. So when 2020 started, I picked up the MREA. I basically found all this software that allows me to run my business like the MREA and keep it on a monthly basis. And I just kept trying at it once a month, every couple of weeks, looking at my profit loss, seeing where we're at to run this like it should be run. Because in my mind, if I know that our business is doing well, I can go and knock out like a listing appointment. I feel very confident because I'm focused.
Yeah.
If I'm worried about money or worried about that next sale, we've all bought a car from someone who needs to make a sale and that, right? So you can usually get some money off of a car purchase and make a sale. I don't want that to be reflected on us. You can just kind of feel it coming. So we make cuts all the time. The last year, we've been able to reduce our operating expenses and our cost of sale a little bit, down about 50%. And we were able to cut a lot of things, software programs that we may not use anymore for our business, just getting leaner instead of having 6 or 8 accounts that when we had all these people on our team, we have 2 accounts now for myself and our admin. We went automated a lot where we were paying someone to do marketing. We have an automated system that goes in and it actually pulls our IDX feed. And when we have a listing, it puts it out and markets it to our social media networks. So little things like that make a big difference. We also had salary employees. And we made a conversion and we went to move them to 1099s. So by doing that, we're able to save quite a bit on taxes and bonuses and things that come along with that. And we meet with our accountant on a regular basis. We decided to file as an S Corp instead of an LLC. We've saved a ton of money on taxes that way. So I'm constantly reaching out to people that know more than me. I always said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. So I always reach out to people that know how to do this, that have been successful. I read a lot, but I'm always asking, even in the office, what's going on with your business? What's happening? And I'm always asking people that are more successful than us what they're doing because I want to know. I admire what they do and I want to know. And I try to share that with agents that may not be at the level we're at and help them out. We'll try to return the favor as well.
So now you still, it's the 3 of you now, and you've trimmed your expenses, at least on the by 50%. What part of that was that on your?
Yeah. So the actual operating expenses we're down about 50%.
Now, does that affect your lead gen as well? Your systems that you're using to generate opportunities?
No, I don't pay for leads. I'm never
Okay.
going to do that. That's just something, it's not our business model. Raised my hand when I first got my license and paid a company a couple of $1,000s to get leads. It's a complete waste of time and money. I'm still mad about that today. That was in 2019. I'm not going to do that. It's just, never say never, but it's just not something that I'm going to do. We generate our business from Sphere. We generate business from that we know and like, a lot of client referrals. Transactions are better just because we have that established relationship with them. But we're branching out and doing some different things with maybe a sector that we haven't reached out to before. There's some things that we're doing to answer your question about lead gen. We will invest money in lead generation. We will invest money in our past clients because that's what kind of keeps our business afloat. We're not going to touch that.
Smart. That's smart.
In fact, we actually shifted some what I call dead money that we don't use anymore and put more money into lead generation. But lead generation is not buying leads. It's just not something I want to do. No.
Good. So what's next?
We'll see what happens in 2024. Interest rates have been a factor. I think the market was down. I think I heard some stats and it varies, but I think we were down number of buyers than we were last year. The market overall, when I look at it, it's down about 18%. We're pretty flat. So if we're flat and we made about what we made last year in GCI and our expenses are lower, we're actually more profitable.
Nice.
So, it's just one of those things where I think you kind of take it case by case. I think next year, I don't really know what to expect next year. It's an election year. There's a lot of factors there. I've been asking those people that I admire and respect, what do you think is going to happen? We have kind of a feel, but I think if we could do what we did this year, continue to watch cost and hopefully there'll be a little bit of a decrease in interest rates, I would be very comfortable with what we did this year. I don't want to have a larger team anymore. That's not something that I think I would revisit. It's great. You do a lot of business, but it took me about a year to recover from that. It was tiring. I worked a lot and I kind of got out of the corporate world because I was working a lot and traveling a lot. And I found myself right back into it. I think you can work not necessarily periods of time. So we try to always find something to do that's smarter, that's more efficient. We'll continue to do that. But I expect a 2024 very similar to 2023.
That's what some of the crystal ball people are saying. The economists, if there is a dip, it will not be significant.
Yeah.
If it does soften, it's not going to be as dramatic as what we saw from 2022 to now.
Yeah.
Well, especially 2021. So it will be less. What we are thinking that there will be fewer agents in the business.
Yeah.
As the pie does shrink, the opportunity there is for agents like yourself who are really focused on your systems. You'll get a bigger piece of the pie, which is
I wasn't around in 2008, 2010, but I talked to a lot of people that were and say, how did you survive? What have you done? And we're trying to do some of those things. It's cutting expenses, seeing if in 2021, it made sense to have a big team. It doesn't now. I'm also a little bit older than only a couple of years, but you're a little bit older. So I think you look at things differently. Spending some time with my friends and family, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'd rather do that than have a big team and quote unquote take on the world. I've done that. I've experienced it. I've kind of checked it off, but it's not something that I want to go back to. I can see us hiring an agent here or there, but I would never go back to 6 agents and 2 admins. It felt like it just kind of got out of control and the customer experience started to suffer a little bit. When you're doing 150 homes a year, you're checking boxes and you're moving to the next client. That's not the way we want to run business. And it's just not for me. Some agents do it and it's fine. It's just, it doesn't sit well with us. I don't think I would go back to that. That's definitely a lesson that I learned.
Well, that becomes a challenge when you're relying on your sphere of influence and your past clients to give you business. Excellent experience is key.
Yep.
That's everything.
Yep.
So I had a thought which just went out of my head. I was paying attention. So where you are right now, what does your work week look like?
I got an appointment this afternoon, so we'll start there. So a couple of inspections here or there. We meet with a client a little bit slow this time of year. Towards the end of the year, we're focusing on working on our actual business. So we're working on websites. We're working on some of the things that in January, February, March, when it starts to kind of heat up a little bit, we may not have time to do. So we're revising buyer presentations. We're revising listing presentations. We're kind of streamlining our marketing. So we're actually using this time to focus on the business, clean up the database a little bit, reaching out to people, just kind of following up. But we're trying to get everything ready to go for when the spring market will be good to go. We've got some clients coming into town from our out of town clients. They're going to be visiting over the holidays. So we'll take them out and kind of get familiar with the market and see if it's a good fit for them to move to North Carolina from their current states. So, but on a regular basis, we kind of get up, we work out, we try to keep our routines, go to lunch. We usually have a lunch meeting with Jen and myself and say, hey, where are you at? What's going on? A little bit different because it's a husband and wife team. So we're able to kind of have those discussions. Hey, what do we need to do here? But it's just lead generation. It's reaching out. It's working on the business. So it just kind of goes. Some days it's in the morning, some days in the afternoons, just kind of fit in and around appointments. And so you kind of have to adapt. When I first got into real estate, I have to do this 11 o'clock. The world doesn't work like that. So if I pull it back and go to this appointment, then I have to make up for it. It might be tomorrow. It might be another day, but I make sure that we do it. And a lot of that lead generation has gone automated too. I feel like what we have at KW with KW Command, there's a lot of ways that you can work through smart plans. And like I'm lead generating right now in the background. So it's reaching out to people, following up with them, answering text messages, those types of things. So we try to automate it as much as we can. Nothing really takes the place of a phone call or a text just to kind of check in. So yeah, we on a regular basis. It may not be at the time that we assign it, but we're going to follow up and do it.
That's great. You got a good program. I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening with you in 2024.
Yeah, thanks.
It should be pretty exciting with everything you put in place.
We're excited.
Anything you want to add? You've really filled up the plate. If anybody who's listening to this, they should probably listen to it again and take some serious notes. And you get some good gems.
No, I think if there's an agent that's just starting out, understand where your money is being spent. I always joke, and I think I presented this in our team meeting here recently. When you get your real estate license, people come after you and they want you to do this or that. And you just kind of get confused. They're doing their job. They're being a salesperson and they're trying to sell their product, but you don't need all of them. So you need to understand, I guess, what your business looks like, where it's going to go, and set a goal. And you also have to be just fiscally responsible and understand where you're spending your money. If you don't, and you don't have that, you're going to cost yourself a lot of money, time and expense and aggravation. We've all done it. We've all been there. But looking back at it, if an agent can start out running their business like a business and understanding where their financing's going and having kind of a clear-cut path, you'll be successful. Sure. If you don't, it's going to be very tough. Not that you won't be successful. It's just going to be very tough and you're going to waste a lot of money.
Yeah.
And time. Yeah.
Excellent. Chris, I appreciate you coming on and sharing all this.
Absolutely.
If somebody wants to reach out to you, where can they find you? What's the best avenue?
Yep. You could just reach out, give me an email, shoot me an email, ccrumpler@kw.com. Shoot me a text as well. My number is pretty much everywhere on our website and on our sign. So feel free to give me a call, but happy to help, happy to answer any questions if I can be of any assistance.
Fantastic. We're going to sign off. Can you hang on? I want to wrap up and come back.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for watching. Be best. Have fun.